Yo, real quick, I have to talk about the Bly Manor by Mike Flanagan, guys. You're not going to believe some of the things and takeaways I've got from watching that whole series one sit through coming up on this next video. Alright, I meant to say next clip, didn't mean to say next video, so without further ado, let's go ahead and talk about the Bly Manor. One of Mike Flanagan's great works, I believe he's made, aside from Midnight Mass, a quick review I did. I'll put the link. You guys can scroll down. It's pretty easy to find. I don't have many video reviews on TV shows, so you'll be able to find that real quick. So, the Bly Manor, incredible show. Kept me on my feet. A little slow to start, a lot like Midnight Mass. So, if you're able to get through the first 3 or 4 episodes, I guess, that's when it really the story really starts to pick up, and then you really start to see how things progress. So very interesting show. One great takeaway I've noticed in the show is all of his works. I don't want to say criticize, but I have a lack of vocabulary there, but I think he almost criticizes the Catholic Church, which is very interesting because, without getting into further details, I don't know, spoiler alert, guys, I gotta say it out there, spoilers. So, really, if those of you who've seen the show, it deals with the fact that the house is kind of possessed, but is possessed with not only one spirit, but 2 spirits. And then it follows this woman who, I guess, sees her dead fiance, who becomes who becomes a ghost after he gets upset because of the decision they end up making in the show, and she feels this guilt about her fiance, that she's, kind of responsible, I guess. But yeah, I don't want to get too much into the details because I don't want to spoil it for anybody that want to watch the show. So, interesting how he tells stories. He always has those yellow glowing eyes, I guess to distinguish ghosts or something that's non-human, almost spiritual. So I think that's really interesting. Also, he also uses his wife in pretty much all of his movies, so that's something to look about. And it's a movie for those who, because I don't like scary movies. I put that out there. Scary movies scare the heck out of me, but this is almost like a thriller, a lot like how M. Night Shyamalan tells stories, kind of like a thriller, but it doesn't really spook you, which I would think would be a great project they can work on, either a show or a movie, where they both collaborate with each other's ideas and storylines, because they'll make a great duel as far as directing, I think. But I think a director is just a one-man show or one-lady show. But hit the comments below about that. So what I've taken away from the Bly Manor is just really, if you look at it like a Catholical sense, that it's just a show about it's a show, mini-series about how I want to say, those of you who believe in God, I don't want to say punish, but almost the God almost like, punish is not the word. He almost wants to teach those who commit sins a lesson. Must be a different lesson in Midnight Mass, but almost kind of like there's religion, and then there's non-believers and all that, and then because in the theming, you see this lady who's a ghost who has a cross around her neck. She doesn't know she's dead until I think the new nanny comes through, and which ends up being the lady who feels guilty about her fiance passing away. But before that, the story, you'll start to see how he does backstories into completing the whole series there, and he always uses the same cast, so it's kind of easier to kind of judge what those cast members play. They play pretty much the similar roles, but an amazing series. Had me on the edge of my feet. I don't know what else to say here. A quick review, I guess, is I give it between Midnight Mass and this Bly Manor, I'll give it a good 4 stars. Looking forward for the next one coming out that he's making in October. I can't recall the name of it, but if all you 80s babies out there, if you really remember growing up with Are You Afraid of the Dark type of series, it feels just that way. Just that way with Are You Afraid of the Dark series. And you can't complain. Can't complain about how he writes his books or his stories, or how he collaborates with a screenplay writer. But as you can see, it's pretty windy here. I hope the audio is good. Really hope the audio is good, and this dead cat could muffle out the wind noise. So yeah, what else could we talk about in Bly Manor? Just interesting how everything works out in there. What else could we say about Bly Manor? Don't follow. I mean, with Midnight Mass, kind of really don't follow religion blindly. And the theme here with Bly Manor, I feel like it's don't, because it's just interesting. Don't have affairs. Just try to live a Christian life, I guess. Because then the uncle feels guilty too. But also it almost goes back to, like, even though there was a church in the manor, the mansion, it almost felt that it wasn't even blessed correctly, I guess, or what priests do, to bless the house. I felt like that was missing in there purposely, obviously on purpose to tell the story correctly. But I felt like it wasn't really blessed because throughout the theming of the show, you start to see that why is it that so-and-so goes away or passes away? Why is it that this and that and this and that? Is because it almost feels like he's trying to say that souls that aren't rested or haven't been put to peace correctly will still linger on, where they passed away. So I guess that's kind of where he's going at. I really haven't read any reviews, haven't read any reasoning behind that. I'm at 7 minutes, so if you have any questions, or if you can comment on this video, and we could start something here with Bly Manor and Mike Flanagan films. Because the theming there, really, if you almost have to watch The Shining to understand, Dreamwalkers, because that's kind of what it is. How spirits and ghosts can get inside your dreams, similar to Insidious. I wasn't forced to watch it, but it was on when my significant other was watching something scary. So I figured, wait, why not? Scared me to heck. Those movies scare me, but it just makes it easier to watch movies like Mike Flanagan, the thrillers, to actually put things together and have them make sense. I'm a big stickler on shows and movies making sense with a beginning, middle, and end, and that's kind of how I feel with Mike Flanagan. Even though he has a slow start into telling his stories, they all make sense in the long run. He puts it together like a full circle. So if you have any questions, maybe I got this review wrong, or in this interpretation of his works wrong, go ahead and comment down below. I'd love to hear what you guys say. And honestly, that's what I like to do really in movies and shows is see what is wrong and interpret them. So see what the screenwriter, playwright wants the audience to understand and not understand about some things. So thanks again, and catch you on the next one.